Boris Johnson is a Prime Minister who finds himself rather boxed in. He's predicated his entire premiership on one single aim: to leave the EU on October the 31st, deal or no deal. But how on earth is he going to do it? MPs have blocked his attempts to get a general election, at least try and get a popular mandate from the people for his Brexit on Halloween. They've also passed a law requiring the Prime Minister to seek an extension with the EU if he fails to secure a deal to avoid a no-deal exit on October the 31st. Cornered but not surrendering. He is sticking to his own plan. He will step up negotiations with Brussels, but he's also clear of one thing: he will not ask for an extension, setting him on a collision course with Parliament and perhaps even the courts by October. The best chance he has is to try and get a deal, but if he has a plan B to get us out without a deal on October the 31st, he's not telling his cabinet or any of us what it is. Will he resign? Will he fight it in the courts? Will he ignore the law and run down the clock? Will MPs try to collapse his government? These are the sorts of nuclear options that we're heading for come late October.
Ask the European Commission in public and they'll tell you they're still working to the assumption that the UK leaves at the end of October. But talk to them in private and they are increasingly convinced that what will really happen is Boris Johnson coming here to Brussels in the middle of October for the summit and asking for an extension. Now that would have to be signed off by all 27 of the other EU leaders. And there has been a suggestion that the Hungarians or the Poles might issue a veto as a favour to Mr Johnson. But in reality, that's very, very unlikely. In fact, the only leader who might conceive of vetoing the extension is Emmanuel Macron of France, who is biblically fed up of Brexit talks. But I don't think he'd really want to upset the Euro apple cart that much. So the most likely thing is an extension, probably till the end of January. Now, talks are going on between UK and European teams, but there's not much talk of concrete progress. Instead, so far, we have no deal, no clarity, and no real guarantee of when Britain will leave the EU. For the moment, it's all up in the air.
As this threat of a deal or no deal continues to hang over us, the one thing we do know is there's going to be a lot more uncertainty, and uncertainty is something that households, businesses and indeed the city don't much like. It means weaker growth. The good news is the economy isn't in recession at the moment, or probably isn't. It looks like we've got a bounce back in the last month and employment looks relatively strong at the moment. Bad news is it's nothing to write home about. This isn't very strong growth. And as we fixate on our domestic crisis, there's all sorts of things going on around the world, whether it's a trade war, whether it's China slowing down, Germany potentially being in recession, or indeed a technology revolution that could change the world. That could be a massive opportunity for Britain, if only we could start talking about something that wasn't Brexit.